Hey everyone, welcome to BiblioTech On Air. I am Ruby filling in for Rosanna today, and today we have a very special guest who, if you came out to our comic expo, you might recognize him as one of our vendors. He is Emmanuel Valtierra. Thank you for joining us today on our podcast.
Oh, thank you for inviting.
Yeah, a little bit before I get started, what did you think of the comic expo? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I was telling a few of my artist friends that it was really good for a first timer, of course. I was surprised. I like the people that came to say hi. I think I had maybe 4 or 5 people that just came to say hi to me, which was kind of cool. I don't see that many most of the times because normally they have to pay to go to any other kind of convention. But here it was free. So I had all these people just like, hey, I wanted to see your art and stuff like that. So I really like that. I normally enjoy more cons that are free for people because, they had... they're normally smaller, so they get to talk to you. And, people that sometimes don't have the money to pay, $100 for a Comic-Con, they can just come here for free and buy something from you. And that's the part that I like about this kind of convention. So, I love that. I'm waiting for number 2.
I'm glad to have you as a regular now. So to get started, when did you first realize that you wanted to become an artist, and what inspired you to start creating art?
That's a hard question because as long as I remember, I wanted to become maybe not an illustrator, but like I'll tell you my earliest memory, if that helps. I remember going to see the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson and coming back home and drawing Batman. And I was maybe 3 or 4. And that's my earliest memory. And another early memory is myself talking to my mom or telling my mom that I wanted to draw cartoons for Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch a lot of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck cartoons. And I have like collectibles that you will get in the chips. How do you call those toys that they were like circles? You know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
I can't remember its name. But they were inside the chips and I would collect them. And
no, you know what? Now I remember, like the ones from Mexico, kind of.
Yeah,
like the
those
ones that come in the bags of chips and stuff. Okay, now I remember.
They had like Bugs Bunny and all those cartoons. So I remember telling my mom, like, I want to draw for Warner Brothers because I will watch the cartoon and they had the Warner Brothers logo at the beginning. So like, I want to be there when I'm a grown up. So I would say all my life I've been wanting to do this all my life. And just recently, I don't want to go ahead of the interview, but just recently had the chance to work with Warner Brothers.
Wow.
And I'm about to do it again, but I cannot talk about much about that one, the upcoming project. But that's something I already done. I loved it. Like the short answer is all my life.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So I'm so glad you got that moment that you were looking forward to whenever you were 3 years old.
No, totally. And I didn't even realize until like maybe 2 months after I worked for them. I was doing, just for the record, cover art for Blue Beetle, which now belongs to Warner Brothers, right? But because it's not Bugs Bunny, I just didn't kind of like connect them at the time. And so like a month or 2 months after that, I was thinking about we just talked about it, like me being a kid saying that I wanted to work for Warner Brothers, like, man, I just did that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And like, that's great. It just like clicked, like, dude.
Yeah, like you don't even realize, like your life is just happening so fast until that actually happens, and you take that step back and look. And
it was like, great.
Wow.
So that's a big accomplishment for me, like my kid dream or whatever you want to call it.
That's amazing. And then, so obviously we're going to get into that, more details of your partnership with the Warner Brothers about Blue Beetle. But next, I just want to get to know, where did you grow up, or where's your family from, and did this influence your art style?
I was born here in San Antonio, and I moved to Monterrey, Mexico early in my life, before 5. So I grew up there. My family's from Monterrey. I was pretty much born here in San Antonio by mistake.
Wow.
It's a long story. It's a long story. But yeah, it shouldn't have happened, but it happened. And that's kind of cool. I love San Antonio. I live here. I was born here, and I don't see myself dying somewhere else. I will live somewhere else. But, my family's from Monterrey. Like my mom has all her family over there. Did that influence in my art? I don't think so. Sadly,
Mm-hmm.
that's sad. At least in Monterrey or like north part of Mexico, the culture is closer to the United States than in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't like mariachis until I was a man.
Yeah, same. I feel that.
Until I had a mustache. That's when I started liking mariachi.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't visit any pyramid or anything like that
Mm-hmm.
until I was 26,
Mm-hmm.
27. I didn't feel Mexican
Mm-hmm.
until I was, or I don't want to say Mexican because
Mm-hmm.
like there's no such thing as I'm an Aztec or something like
Yeah.
that. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't feel neither Mexican or American.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel Texan. I can say that. But the first time that I actually felt connected to Mexican culture, I was maybe 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it didn't really influence living there for me to do this kind of art.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. Then again, sadly, because I would have liked that. I would like to have a good story to tell you right now, which I don't.
That,
Like I just told you, I grew up with Batman. That
Yeah.
has nothing to do with Mexico.
No, that I honestly find that pretty relatable because me, myself, my family was born in Mexico as well, and I didn't learn to start appreciating it until later on in my life.
Mm-hmm. And I think it works like that for everyone. You're a kid. You don't care.
Yeah,
Until you're like
definitely.
an adult. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is kind of cool. And then you start to notice all the good things that your
Mm-hmm.
country has
Mm-hmm.
or the place where you live. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not always the country that
Mm-hmm.
you're from. Stuff like that. But like a kid doesn't really care. So I'm trying to think of a good story when I was a kid. Like, oh, yeah. The closest thing that I have to that is me going to elementary school in Mexico and grabbing the history books. And I believe it was a third year. I might be wrong. And that was the first time that I saw the codex Aztec style.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were funny. Like I had the memory.
Yeah.
That's something I have very engraved in my brain. Like that memory of me grabbing the book and looking at the codex style for the first time. Because I don't have a word, but like I looked at the pictures and I thought not funny, but like weird.
Yeah, very different. Unique.
Maybe just different. That's the word that I wanted to use. And no, it's not. I have no word. But, it's something that just gets recorded in your brain forever, and I have that memory, and that's it. That's the closest thing that I have to like an Aztec memory from when I was a child. It's just that, like looking at it and being like, well, this is kind of cool. Like when you see, maybe it's one of the few times, or it's one of those times in which you see a new style and you like it, but you're a kid, so you don't care still. But like in the back of your mind,
it's gonna stay there.
Yeah, it's gonna stay there, and that's what it was.
Awesome. I like that. That's a nice story. So, who are some of your major artistic influences, and how have they shaped your work?
Well, if we're talking about art in general, my greatest influence is not a cartoonist or a painter or anything like that. It's a writer. So I started doing this or liking this or taking interest in this when I read Aztec by Gary Jennings. So then again, I mean, there's no drawings in the book. It's just a novel. It's not even, well, it is based on historical facts. You want to see it like that, but it's still a novel. Like whatever they tell you in the book, it didn't happen. It's just fiction. But after that, that's when I started like maybe investigating or like digging more into the topic. And he's kind of like, well, after that, I wanted to embrace my culture. Although he's not Mexican, I believe he's American, Gary Jennings. I wanted to do the same in my own way. I'm not a writer, but I like drawing. And after that, that's when I started kind of like messing around with the style a little. And I was, I think I mentioned it before, I was like 17, 18. And so he's my most important influence. That doesn't mean it's my only one. I say, then again, going back to when I was little, well, I really liked Chuck Jones and Tex Avery style on the cartoons a lot. And this is something I didn't know until I was a grown-up. I just went back to all those cartoons that I used to watch when I was a kid. And I realized that my favorite ones, like maybe 9 out of 10, were either directed or created by Chuck Jones or Tex Avery. style. I mean, they have different styles. I mean, those two styles. So talking about cartoons, those two are big. So I don't draw like them, but I like drawing things that they used to draw.
Yeah.
Like I like drawing those cartoons because of those two guys.
Yeah.
In comic books, I'll say I remember the first comic book that I got when I was little. I was maybe like 6 or 7, and it was an X-Men comic book, and it was the art of I think his name was Liefeld. And I really like him. Like he still draws, but like back in the day, like 1994, 1995, he will draw all these like bulky figures, human figures, and also what was his name? From Spider-Man? Todd McFarlane.
Oh, okay.
He was my number one. Like you know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he was drawing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that's exactly when I started like buying comic books. So I had Liefeld and McFarlane all the time. And I was like, man, this is so cool. And then I went downhill after that. But comic books, yeah, those two. And you know who also I like a lot? Mobius. I don't know if you know him. He's French, but he lived in Mexico for a while, and then he went back to France. And he was drawing, I believe, a heavy metal at the time. Okay. And he was working on the, how you call it, like when you're drawing for a movie, the storyboard.
Oh, okay.
For Dune.
Oh, nice.
And so, yeah, I mean, he's just great. And a lot of people like him. He's not like an outsider artist or anything like that. He's very famous, but I like him a lot. And maybe that's it. I mean, or those are a few.
Yeah. Did you since you had such a passion for comic books and the style and the characters, did you ever try doing your own comic book in your style, or just a comic book in general?
Yeah, I have a few. I have a Teoatl that of course I work on the drawings, and Kevin Garcia from Austin, he used to work for Marvel a little bit, and he's the one who wrote it. And yeah, I have like bulky guys there, Aztec bulky dudes. So yeah, we had that one, and after that, I kind of like launched my own comic book, which is called Ocelotlan, but it's with animals. It's more like kind of like they look more like Pokemons than humans, you know. And they still don't look like Pokemons, but that's the closest thing that I can think of. And that was it. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would like working drawing comics for Marvel or DC. It's not for me. I enjoy working on the cover art, but it's just like an illustration. Like, the thing is, I hate to say it, but I don't like being told what to do, to draw. I hate it, and I already tried that with like Kevin. Like, I don't like being told what to do, because for Teoatl I had to draw what he was asking me to draw. And with Ocelotlan, I don't even have a sketch. I just sit down and create this story at the time. You know, like I'm just drawing what I want. It feels different when you do a whole project than when you do something with a friend of yours or someone that you know, another professional. So yeah, I just don't like being told what to do. I can say that.
That makes sense. And then, so like we mentioned, your artwork features unique themes and motives from Aztec culture. Can you share the inspiration behind these recurring elements?
Sure. I mean, I already mentioned one. I was talking about Aztec by Gary Jennings, which is my most, or the most, the biggest influence that I had. I have no art. I mean, there's no way I can tell you a name of some artists that I like that influenced that, because they all died. and all their books were burned.
I like that. I like that your inspiration comes from words and not like pictures, because then then your imagination is the one that you're solely working off of.
Totally. And you know, I mean, it's kind of cool that I have to use my imagination, and it's actually an obstacle that I have sometimes. Just to give you an example, I had to draw, I had to make the illustrations for Códice Peregrino, or Pilgrimage Codex, which is a book that was published in Mexico. And the book, I'll tell you just about it so you can have an idea. So the book is about a family from Mexico City that wants to move to the United States. And everything is based on the Boturini Codex, which is when the Aztecs moved from Aztlan to Tenochtitlan. So my writer, Viviana Mansur, she used the same concept, but now it's a family from Mexico going to the United States. And all the situations that they go through are very similar to what the Aztecs went through 600, 700 years ago. So, but now, I mean, it's a codex or a book or a story situated in the present. And everything I have to draw, it has to be a codex style. So, on the first part of the story, she's describing the dad, like he drives a taxi cab. And I have to draw that. I mean, where can I find a codex style cab? And they live in the city, full of houses and buildings. Like, there is no such thing. So I had to create that myself. And that's just one example. I mean, there's more things in the book. I have to pretty much think about something cool. I believe there's another part of the story that says that everyone is escaping on a bus, and the bus is as fast as a Jaguar. So what do? There were buses like 700 years ago. So I have to draw a bus that kind of looks like a Jaguar, just to represent both of them at the same time. That kind of helped. But it's just using imagination. But at the same time, like sometimes it's kind of frustrating because it's or at least I think it's gonna look silly.
And we will be back after these messages.
Are you a fan of our Libros and Libations BiblioTech's very own book club? Do you want to know what we read in the past or what we're planning on reading in the future? Well, check out Cloud Library's shelf, Libros and Libations, where you can read everything that we have read all together in the past and what we're going to read together in the future.
And now we're back.
So can you tell us about a project or collaboration that was particularly meaningful to you and what made it special?
Well, I have a few. I think my favorite one so far has been a Pilgrimage Codex, the one I just talked about. Because it was my first time working with someone that I believe, or no, I'm sure, I don't believe, I'm sure she's a professional. Because, it is my third book. So the previous two books that I have and the comic book with Kevin, I feel everyone I work with, they're very professional to a certain level. But with Vivian and having a publisher for the first time, it feels completely different. So I loved, and I still love, like I want to work again with her, and I wouldn't mind having another book with the same publisher because maybe it's just a little bit of nostalgia. It was the first time that I had this feeling of being a professional. She has many books and she's very successful. And the fact that she looked at me and she wanted to work with me was very important to me. And the same thing with the publisher. I mean, having another designer, another illustrator looking at your art and telling you how you can improve yourself or you can improve the page that you're working on. It's kind of annoying. The same thing, like I don't like being told what to do. But the final product is rewarding. Like seeing like, oh, well, he was kind of right. Looks way better. Because now you're working with professionals. You're not working just with a friend that he wants what he likes instead of like he doesn't want what's better.
So what has been the most challenging aspect of your artistic career and how did you overcome it?
I don't know. Maybe I'll say surviving.
Okay, yes. Very relatable.
I hate talking about money, but I'll be honest. I mean, at the beginning, it was bad. The only reason that I kept doing this is because at the time I saved money. I had money in my bank account. And so I had enough money to live without working for at least 3 years. And I'll tell you this, on the first year when I started drawing, or when I wanted to draw professionally, because I've been drawing all my life, I didn't make a cent. I was just there at home, sitting on my computer drawing. And I made money for the first time when I launched the Aztec playing codex cards. Aztec codex playing cards, I'm sorry. That was the first time that I made some money. But it took me over a year. And it wasn't a lot of money. So the year after, maybe I made a little bit more, then a little bit more. Now I can say I can survive with this. But that's been an obstacle, believe it or not. I mean, it's not hard to believe. I'm an artist. Everyone knows an artist in
Starving
their lives.
artist.
Yeah, exactly. Not anymore, but it was. It was, and then again, I don't want to say it was hard and I was suffering because I had money with me.
But it's still
very
hard.
You want to
like
quit,
not to gain anything from it while you're passionately working hard on it for an entire year. I can imagine that'll deter a lot of people.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You want to quit every month, and you see all your friends making money, doing whatever. Even a server is making more money than you. Not saying it's a bad job or anything, right? But you're like, dude, I mean, should I be doing this? Like, I'm just drawing cartoons, and you feel bad. I mean, you feel silly. You feel silly because you're not making money. I mean, not anymore. Then again, I mean, but I don't know. I don't want to say I was one of those kids that are like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That was my mom never told me that.
Yeah.
And my dad was even worse. Like he wanted me to be an engineer. So I never had that kind of support. Yeah. No one ever told me like, dude, you're gonna make it. No one. I don't remember it. Maybe a few of my friends, in middle school, like, oh, dude, you're cool. Like, I like your drawings.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be a cartoonist, but that's it. Like, you're an adult now, dude. Like, you need to be making money. And I'll do all these adult things, and you're drawing. So when you're an adult, no one is gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
But somehow I trusted it on what I was doing. I saw a chance. I saw, like a style that wasn't being what was the word? Maybe work on. It was like an empty field that I could do whatever I want. Because at the time, no one was drawing Aztec style. When I started doing this, the closest person, or the closest one that I found, because like before I started working with the Aztec style, of course I went to Google to see if someone else was doing it. And the closest one that I found at the time, and I'm talking about 10 years ago, was a lady. I think I might be wrong. I think her name was Mona Robot, but she was doing Mayan. And that was the closest thing that I found. Like a mix of Aztec style with like pop culture. So this is for me.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't making money, like I knew at some point I was going to.
Yeah.
And here I am.
That's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. That's very inspiring. I love to hear the way people started out, and especially how you said that you had to trust in yourself. That I can't imagine how hard that was to just believe in yourself that much.
You have to, otherwise no one will do it.
Yeah, I like that. So now we can get into, tell us a little bit about Codex Valtierra. And was this your first book that you wrote and illustrated? And what was that process and experience like?
Yeah, I didn't write it. I was just working on the illustrations. And it was maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I came up with the idea. And at the time I was following this, I believe it was a Facebook fan page called, oh my God, I forgot about the name. It doesn't matter. But it was a Facebook page about Aztec culture, right? And I liked the articles that the guy wrote at the time. So I sent him a message like, hey, I really like the way you write your articles. Like, and he was already following me and reposting my art on his website. It's like, how do you like the idea of making a codex? Like we do it exactly the same. You write the story, I draw, and we print everything on an accordion. Like a one-piece book. He liked the idea, and we started working on it right after. And it took me about it was a good year, and I made 550 copies. It sold out. I would love to have someone to rewrite it, and I would like to redraw it. Then I will have Codex Valtierra back. Otherwise, no, there's no way I will do more copies of it because I don't like it anymore. Or I like how it looks as a book. I don't like the work that's inside anymore. That's the problem. And then again, I don't care whoever listens to this. It's just, I gotta be true to myself.
I did. Thank you for sharing. Really, thank you. And so we discussed previously, you've recently created variant covers in your signature style for DC's Blue Beetle comics. How did this opportunity arise? Did DC approach you for this collaboration? And considering the latest Blue Blue Beetle is a Latino character. What significance did this project hold for you?
Well, just a small correction, is cover, not covers. I only made one. But yeah, they approached me. The story goes, I got this guy on my Instagram sending me a message like, hey, how much will you charge me for a commission? I want Blue Beetle in Aztec style. And at the time, I'm already a grown up. I don't read comics anymore. So I knew that there was a Blue Beetle character, and I knew he was a Latino. And this happens. Then again, I don't watch cartoons anymore. But when someone is watching cartoons and on the side, and you just kind of like turn to look at whatever they're watching. And I believe it was Batman, the Brave and the Bold. I might be wrong, because then again, I don't watch it. But it was one of the newest Batman cartoons, and they have Blue Beetle as a guest on the episode. And I noticed he had an accent. And I was like, oh, who's that guy? And, I just went to my phone, Googled it out, Blue Beetle. Oh, yeah, he's a Latino. And that was it. That's all I knew about Blue Beetle. So then this guy comes up. He asked me to do a commission. Every time I have a commission that is somehow related to comic books, video games, whatever, I made stickers out of it. Because, I don't like overcharging people for my art. So I gave him a good price, but I can keep making money out of whatever I made, right? So I made a few stickers with Blue Beetle. And I was at this it wasn't a convention. It was more of we were a bunch of artists. We were selling our stuff, but we were like helping other artists to improve. We were
like a big networking kind of event
like
for
that.
like upcoming artists, or
no, not upcoming. I mean, because I was probably the least famous there. Well, probably everyone feels the same, but I was like, what am I doing here with all these people? Because there were some really some people that do really cool things, and between all those guys there was this guy who was writing for Blue Beetle, Julio Andas, I believe, or I can't recall his last name, but his name is Julio. And he comes to my table after I listened to his speech. His speech was how to pitch for DC or Marvel, for like a big comic book, whatever. Or I don't remember if it was after or before, but like right, around the time. And he comes to my table, he sees the sticker, the Blue Beetle sticker. Like, oh, cool, man. Like, how much were these? Like $2. He buys the sticker, and then he tells me like, oh, I'm working for DC. I'm writing for Blue Beetle. Oh, that's cool, man. Like I try not to act like, oh, I try just to be cool, like, oh man, that's cool, and that's it. And that was it. And then maybe 3-4 weeks after that, I received an email from well, I don't want to say his last name because I don't want people looking for him, but his name is Andrew. He works also for DC, and he works with Blue Beetle. He's like, hey, Julio, show me your sticker, and let me introduce myself. My name is Andrew, whatever, and I work with DC, and we would like to have you over to draw one of your variant covers for Blue Beetle.
That's amazing.
Sure, let me see. Let me check my calendar.
That's amazing.
So yeah, they showed up on my email, and they are the ones that asked, and of course I say yes. I was just like acting cool, but I was dying inside. Like, so that was pretty cool, and well, yeah, it happened. I'll tell you a story. A few days ago, I'll say like around a week ago, I sent an email today. I'm like, hey, how would you like for this year, 2024, to release Aztec Heritage Month covers with my art? But I'll do Aztec, Mayan, Incan, maybe Taínos, different countries, not just Mexico. For different characters, for different comic issues. I haven't got an answer yet, but I would love to do that. And I told him, like, I promise I won't draw tamales or tacos. Yeah. It's going to be pure culture. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, hopefully, and he was to the same person, to Andrew. Like, I hope you like the idea. And if they say yes, I hope they will. Oh, yeah. You might see him in September. Oh, man,
yeah. Fingers
crossed. So pray
crossed.
for that. Yeah, fingers crossed. Exactly.
Sending good vibes. That'd be very, very exciting to see.
Yes.
So is there anything else that you can share with us about your future plans, or anything new that you can tease? I know you mentioned a little bit about it before.
Yeah. Well, what I'm working right now on is I'm about to finish a playing card game with images of Frida. But the thing is, I don't know how to release it because I don't want to get in trouble with the copyrights.
Oh, okay.
And Frida is not a brand, believe it or not. Someone thought that it was a great idea to copyright the paintings of someone else that is not you.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And I don't think it's fair. Because, maybe she was your aunt or whatever. Or like, it's still a painting.
Yeah.
You can take pictures and no one owns it. It's just there. Like, someone already paid the price for that painting.
Wow.
So there's actually someone trying to claim the rights, is the person that owns the painting, not you.
Wow.
Not because you are the niece of Frida Kahlo, you have no rights.
Yeah.
She already sold that painting a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna keep. Of course, I'm gonna finish the deck and I'm gonna send it to print, and I'm just gonna have it with me for like conventions and stuff like that. But like, it's gonna be troublesome if I put it online on my Etsy store or anything like that. So that's one of the things that I'm working on. I'm gonna start working on another book. There's this professor, I don't remember where he lives, I'm not gonna lie, but he wants to commission me a book, and he doesn't want to own the rights. He just wants me to do it, and he wants me or someone else to, because I'm gonna do it on the computer, of course, because I want to, create a book and print it several times. But he wants to pay me or someone else after that to make a codex by hand, so he can have it.
Oh,
that's what he wants.
Nice.
So I'm gonna talk to him on the weekend. I'm gonna see what's up with that. I mean, we talked already before, and he likes the idea. But the thing, I had all these projects going on. I just finished working, and I just got a message because I saw with Solo Maridueña, which is the actor of Blue Beetle. I made for him a few designs, clothing designs, which I hated. I was like, guys, just to let you know, I've never designed any clothes. And Solo and his manager, Brandon, like, we don't care. We want you to do it. I'm like, all right. Like, I don't know if I did a great job or a bad job, because I don't do that. But they insisted. So anyways, I did that. And I don't know if you heard, but like Solo Maridueña just, not just, he's been around for like 2 months or 3 months. But like, he released a song on YouTube. So he's recording an album. And I did the cover.
Oh, nice.
For the album, the cover art. It's not released yet. I sent it for review like a week ago.
Yeah.
But like Solo is he was shooting in New York with Al Pacino. Now he's back in Cali shooting for Cobra Kai season 5, I believe. So he's busy. Like it normally takes him like a week or two to answer. So I want to know what's up. I want to know if they like it. But yeah, I submitted the artwork about a week ago. And there's another project I'm gonna be working on. I cannot talk about it, but I'll tell you this. It's a DC animated movie.
Oh, man. That's so exciting.
And, yes. And it's crazy. I cried.
Oh, gosh.
It's not confirmed yet. I'm having not an interview, but the Zoom with the director tomorrow. But they want me. I mean, the same thing. They found me. They sent me a message on Instagram. And I already knew it was for that movie, which... I mean, if you know what I do, like if someone in the audience listens to the...
you can take a good guess.
Yeah, you can take a great guess. And for what I talked already on the interview before, you will understand why I cried.
Oh, man, that's so amazing.
Yes, and I'm going to be in 2 scenes, and the opening scene and the credit scene, because it's going to be made with Aztec codex.
Oh, man, that's
everything.
So exciting.
Just look at whatever DC is doing with Aztecs right now. You will know.
That's so exciting. I can't believe it. No, I can't wait. We're gonna have you on again in the future, so you can talk about that more, and then talk about that experience as well. Gosh, that's so exciting. I'm so excited to hear all about that. So to close this interview off, we are a library, so we do like to promote reading. And so right now I'm going to ask you, what are you currently reading? Or you can say watching or listening to, anything.
Sure. Reading, I just finished a book about 2 months ago. It was called, in Spanish, Fútbol bajo el microscopio, or like soccer under the microscope. Talks about how soccer is connected to science somehow, and like all the little science details related to soccer, which is really cool because I like soccer. And then right now I'm like halfway through The Richest Man of Babylon.
Okay.
That's the one that I'm currently reading, and I have for next one, which one was it? It was called History of the Name of Mexico.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and on the cover it has the big moon with the rabbit inside. So I believe I'm between that one and the Bible of the Mayans. What was the name of it? can't remember the name, but I got it last time I was in Mexico. It's also in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it's oh my God, I know that name. I hate it, but it's the Bible of the Mayans, right? I mean, the version of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm between those two. I'll see. Currently watching Mr. Robot on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm already on season 4. Hopefully, I'll finish it in about a week or 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Season 4 is kind of like so, but I heard the ending of season 4 is just amazing. So I'm pretty excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing all of
No
that.
problem.
I had no more questions for you. If there's anything else you wanted to throw out or say.
No, it's all good. I mean, I think I've talked enough.
I
I know I talk a lot.
No, it was so much good information, though. Thank you so much for everything that you shared. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and coming out and giving our readers this amazing episode. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to having you again in
Anytime,
the future.
just let me know.
The more works that you continue to do. But thank you very much.